All right, we can talk about the game.
We could talk about the game, or you know what? It's interesting. I'm on several platforms where I talk to real live players, like real players, and I won't shout out his name, but he said something really prolific the other day. He said, "Let's not call this a game because it's real life, and it's not a game because people die, people get life sentences." Real shit happens behind the lifestyle that we live. So it's not a game. And it just blew me back because it is a lifestyle, it is a culture, it isn't something you just wake up and put on. If you're not a hoe hustler, it's in you. So that means that if you're a magician, a gangbanger, a drug dealer, a part-time Walmart door checker, all that stupid shit, then this game is not for you, and you're in a way.
It's changed so much since the 70s and 80s and 90s
Yeah, because
because of the laws.
the laws had a lot to do with it, but really, you know what? Honestly, the game changed because a lot of it was our fault. And I mean, when I say our fault, I'm talking about for the others that are in the game, the lifestyle. It was our fault because we let the suckers in. We gave them, free tours, in a car with the hose so that they could see what it looked like. We gave them enough information that they could make songs about being a player and mixing it with being a gangbanger and all this other shit. And so we added like people like, Don Juan, he co-signed Snoop Dogg. That was the ending that was the beginning of the ending.
Well, those movies too that kind of
The
exposed.
movies, all of that shit, all those co-signing people that's really not fitting the bill of what a gentleman of leisure really is. And see, the thing is that's where the laws come in. So you can't really blame the law for what they're reacting to the bullshit.
If a gang member watches Pimps Up, Hose Down, he's going to think,
Now he think he's a player. He spin around, click his heels, and this motherfucker think he's a pimp now. And that's the problem. So that's why now it's literally non-existent. We can't do it no more because it's no longer pimping. It's something else. So now we have to bow out and we have to basically get dressed up. We got to get,
a new hustle.
and we have to do other shit because now it's become something else because it's a hybrid now. I see a lot of this shit. I heard a host say the other day, and I don't even call them hoes because today we won't have hoes. We got pussy peddlers. And she said, yeah, my boyfriend is a rapper and I'm a model. And unfortunately, this is and they're trying to, and a lot of these new guys are trying to, or these hoe hustlers are trying to redefine it. They're trying to make it out to be and retrofit it to be this sucker shit. That's not what the game is. It's the gentleman of leisure he's a hoe's man. That's what he is. He's her man. He's not, he does it like this. He put his hand behind his back and he uses his mouthpiece and everything is from the strength of his mind, not the strength of his dick. He not beating her. He not doing all that mistreating her. It's his conversation. It's his game plan. It's who he is. That's why we say that players are born and hoes are made. Me myself, I grew up, this picture got my mother on it. I took this picture off of a bigger picture with my mother standing next to Muhammad Ali when she was in her 20s. She introduced me to him. My mother was a great inspiration, because my mother, was classy. She attracted, rich and affluent men to her, and she picked the right man to help her along her way as she, climbed the corporate ladder. That's the type of lady that, we wish we could go back to those type of ladies of leisure or those type of hoes. We don't have that no more. Now we got these hoes that stand on the corner and peddle their pussy for $40 and $60 and $80 for this lame. And this lame is intimidated by any kind of elevation. If you mention OnlyFans, he hate OnlyFans. He say OnlyFans is fucking up the game. Let me tell you something. OnlyFans is your way out the bullshit. because OnlyFans is the way that you legally can do what you do with your young lady, and you guys can do what you got to do, and you can get to your money. And anybody that got a problem with it, we can, get on my Instagram and let's argue about it. Let's debate about it. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, some of y'all got archaic and antiquated game. You can't take the 1970s and apply that shit to 2024. I respect all that. I respect traditions, but if I'm running for president, I'm not walking in the White House with a top hat like I'm Abraham Lincoln. That shit is over with. Okay, so OnlyFans, I want all the players to think about this for a moment, because I'm gonna say something that is probably gonna go over some of y'all heads, but it's for those who have ears, who's gonna listen, and those who don't, don't. So I'm gonna say this. So a lot of you guys know that are what we used to call high powered pimping, or top notch pimping, or space age pimping is what, with the eros and the internet and the escorting licenses and all of that, right? And y'all didn't have no problem with that. And now OnlyFans comes, and it's a legitimate platform, right, where you can do all these different things, monetize this way, that way, right, legit. So the only way you got a problem with this is if you have a problem with the game because you don't have no game. Because this should have been a blessing, or, disguised, like this is like a blessing out of heaven. So if you got a problem with it, then you got a problem with all the players that got escorting services, all the players that went into opening up their own agencies for porn or whatever they doing that's legitimately, because listen, I'm going to tell you like somebody told me a long time ago, right? And I'm going to just keep it real, right? All right, so I had to step back from this shit, but when I was active, I was from the Century Division, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I was told. I was told this. Hey, listen, man, I don't know if you know this, but this is the sex industry. It is not limited to a corner. So when all of y'all talking all this shit about stump down, this, that, and the, some of you guys, man, y'all just put on the uniform and trying to play the part. You don't really genuinely understand this game or this lifestyle. Because if you did, you wouldn't disparage any tools that come to listen, man, in the 1970s, all them old players, they couldn't stand on Sunset Boulevard and text message, you know what I'm saying, they hoe and tell them to meet them at the donut shop, because there wasn't no text messages. So you mean to tell me you gonna do what they did? You gonna go wait by the payphone for this bitch to show up? Because you so old school, you not gonna use cell phones? You just gonna stand by the payphone? That's how stupid y'all look. I just wanted to get that OnlyFans shit out the way.
You're right, though. OnlyFans gives everyone a ticket to do what they do.
That's exactly. You don't
without
believe
the law.
What I'm saying about OnlyFans? Give it a few more years of it being legitimate, and watch what happens when the government catches on that you realize that it's legitimate and you're being legitimate. Watch what's going to happen. They're going to watch what they do. It's let's just keep it real. Anything that we touch, and we metamorphosize ourselves into something legitimate, they're going to automatically attack it. Because it's a bigger picture, But at the end of the day, you got to open your eyes. But at the same time, a lot of these cats are really not gentlemen in the first place. So I don't expect you to get it. If you running around here chasing bitches up and down the street like Michael Myers, like some goddamn serial killer, you chasing bitches on the sidewalk and doing all this weird shit, screaming at hoes and cussing everybody out, you're not a player anyway, period. You're not a player. I don't care what you put on. I don't give a fuck what kind of designer shit and how many chains. You're not a player because it's not on you. It got to be in you. So, and you can't moonlight in this game. And ladies, stop choosing the suckers. Stop thinking with your pussy and start thinking with your brain. Stop worrying about if he fucked you good, if he licked your pussy good. Save your pussy for the tricks. I get emotional about that shit. It's crazy because you know what? God bless the dead, but when you got me in contact with, rest in peace, with Kenny Red, and he called me, one of the questions he asked me was a certain thing, a certain play. Why did I play that way? It was legitimate play, right? That I guess I can speak on now. But he said, why did you put, the young lady in that interview, with no jumper, why did you do that? He told me that. And I respect that man so much. I didn't argue or debate with him about it because I know he came from a different time. But y'all know why I did it. Come on now. You're not stupid. You know why I did it. Look at y'all watching Bad Girls Club and all this other shit. Y'all know why I did it. Y'all know what I was doing. So I'm going to just put it out there because that's free game. A lot of y'all niggas is really lame as fuck. And I'm going to be honest. I'm tired of seeing it. I've been tired of seeing. I don't even listen. I'm not even active. I don't go down no blades. You won't catch me in none of y'all circles. I'm not shooting dice with you. I'm not doing none of that shit. I'm staying away from you because all the shit that y'all got all y'all attracted to this game right now, all this shit, I want to stay as far away from it as possible. I want to be as close to the elevation as possible. Look who on my shirt. This is Iceberg Slim. He was ahead of his game. He was the reason why he chronicled the game in his time. And I don't think anybody understood how important he was in his time, but they do now. And I think the same way. That's why I'm gonna stay away from you. You ain't gotta worry about if you crip pimping, if you blood pimping, if you tattoo pimping, whatever the fuck, hybrid pimping, you ain't gotta worry about me ever being nowhere close to you because I feel like you're schizophrenic and you don't know what you wanna do. I'm never gonna accept a man shaking my hand saying he a player, but he has a mixed personality about what he want to do. You got to have, in this game, you got to be solid about what you are and who you are. This is like my man said, this is really, we call it a game, but it's really not a game. A lot of y'all out here taking chances with your life, with you possibly not being here no more, and you got to stop playing with this shit because it can be over in a minute.
Kenny Red said at one point that nobody in the game is making any money.
When he said that, that's, you know what? Listen, when you hear a player, a veteran like that say that, you can't ignore that. And I'm going to just be honest. I'm going to double down on that. They're not making money because until they understand, listen, the segue to be a legitimate gentleman of leisure has been opened. I'm not going to say too much more because I'm not going to give away free game, but the segue of being a legitimate gentleman of leisure is open. And if you still got these hoes on corners, if you still even dealing with these pussy peddlers, if you haven't opened your own business and you haven't legitimized yourself, then you're just late.
Behind the times.
You're behind the times. You're late. And you're not making no money. You can't lie to me. I don't give a fuck how many goddamn...
these OnlyFans girls are making real money.
We can't even talk about that. Listen, what's going on? I'm gonna be honest, Mark. What's really happening when you see these girls holding money to their phone, ear, like it's like the phone. What's happening is you got these dudes that's doing everything else, and they bringing everything else to the table, and that's the money that is from everywhere else that he's putting because they ain't getting no money out on the street. There's no money on the street. Who y'all fooling? The squares? There's no money on the street. So y'all play pimping. Y'all just got these hoes because you're an undercover trick and she cute and you want some free head. And that's the reason why you're doing all that. The truth is, if you was really a gentleman, you would know if you really understood the history of this shit. Again, more free game. Gentlemen of leisure didn't do illegal activities when this shit started off. We own clubs, establishments, pool halls, right? And our women, were ladies of leisure. So you don't have to take the route, that you see the whole hustler take in order to be a part of this shit. It just got to be in your heart. And if it's not in your heart, put it down. Because this is not a game. You're going to end up dead or you're going to end up with a life sentence. And that's a mouthful. You know what I mean? That's a mouthful. And y'all can argue me down, all this, but a lot of y'all haven't even been around long enough to know what I'm talking about. If you're comfortable in the streets, if you're comfortable doing this shit with this bitch, running around with this pussy peddler, having her pay for your studio time because your budding rap career and all that other shit, you playing with your life, man. This shit is not, for the faint of heart. These people ain't playing, man, because what y'all doing is not right. Y'all not, this shit is not right. Y'all not really representing the lifestyle, man. Y'all representing something that it's sick. It's sick, man. Y'all touching people kids and putting people kids and shit. It's sick, and it's and all I got to say is I'm stepping far away from you, as far away as I possibly can, because man, this ain't what it's supposed to look like. It don't supposed to look like this. There's only a few left. It ain't like I look at 99% of y'all something else. And I think they starting to understand that, Mark. I think they're starting to like separate themselves from the lifestyle and just call themselves something completely else. I've heard a few of them call themselves boyfriend pimps and all that other shit. Since when did a hoe have a boyfriend? I mean, you gotta understand this. What you are to her is way bigger, much bigger than a boyfriend. Let me give y'all some more free game. Do you think a boyfriend would sit down, an actual legitimate square boyfriend could sit down with a woman that goes out, sells her pussy all night, and look her in the face straight without feeling some type of way? No, he can't. So stop using words that don't describe what you are. That's not what you are. You calling her you saying that boyfriend, girlfriend because you have no game and because you trying to subject yourself to whatever you think she gonna like and she gonna accept so that you can keep her. I don't know what else to say. I might have to start charging because this is too much game for y'all to get. And the thing is a lot of y'all, the only ones that's gonna get mad is the ones that I'm talking about.
Nobody's making money. I see it.
Nobody. If they are making money, they're making money
Doing something else.
And the thing is like, if you're doing something else, you're doing something else, Playboy. I mean, nobody is mad. But quit. Why do y'all have to be in our lane? That's what I don't understand. Like, why do y'all have to be in our lane? That's what I really want to understand, that part. Why do y'all have to get in our lane? You know, it's like you guys are fucking up our lane. You know who you are, all that, that shit, it really gets me emotional because, like, I know the history of this shit and I know how great this shit really is, and it's like, I can't understand why are you so, like, just go pay for some pussy. Just drive up the track and just buy the bitch. Why do you got, like, I see you guys driving around in circles and shit, players don't do that shit. Like, you going in circles and shit, sweating a bitch in circles and circles and circles. You know who your car is behind when you doing that shit? Tricks, because that's what you are. Don't no real player sit there and drive around a block 50 times for no bitch because she's supposed to come to you. You're not supposed to be going to her. She's supposed to come to you. It's just, and I see this shit and I'm just like, man, you know what? It's nerve-wracking, to say the least, to see this shit. And for somebody that it's really in my heart, like how it's really in my heart, and then I got news for you. I know some players, man, that it's like, I'd have had conversations behind closed doors, and it's almost like, if we were able somehow to go back in time and dial back the laws and dial back everything, there wouldn't even be no street legitimate enough for a self-respecting hoe to work on. Because between all of the shit going on, the gang banging and all the other shit, we got hoes getting their head blew off. We got all kind of crazy shit going on. What self-respecting hoe could ever actually make a living on any one of these tracks? You niggas are suckers. Period. And I don't care if you mad at me. You are a sucker for getting in the lane that you have no business in. If you a rapper, stay a rapper, motherfucker. If you a drug dealer, stay a drug. If you a gangbanger, stay in that lane. I respect all those lanes when you in it. I got family members in almost all those lanes, and I respect all of them when you in it. Everybody in my family know what I am and know what I'm about. Ain't nobody gonna watch this video and be surprised that know me. But that's a lot of y'all that if you did a video, you did an interview, they'd be surprised because they'd be like, damn, I never knew him to be in. He was never that. Every time I seen him, he was shooting down helicopters and blowing up helicopters and shit. When the hell did he become that? And that's the ones that I'm talking about. The ones that when somebody sweat your hoe, you pull up and start throwing up gang signs and want to kill everybody. The ones who you want to rearrange the traditions and the values and change the names and it's boyfriend, pimping, and all this other shit. It's none of that, Playboy. That's not what it is. It's not even really pimping if you want to get deep. It's gentlemen of leisure. And I got more news and more game to drop on you that some of y'all gonna go crazy over. Your hoe don't even gotta be selling no pussy. Did you know that? Did you know that the original ladies of leisure, a lot of them didn't even lay on their backs. They called that flat backing, what you guys are doing. They didn't lay on their back. You can be a young lady, can be working and doing something completely opposite of what you guys are doing and still be taking care of the man in her life. Y'all have no understanding of what that is. But
I interviewed a girl the other day who calls herself a FinDom, financial dominatrix. She makes serious money, like OnlyFans 1% money. And she's not sleeping with anybody, unless she wants to.
OnlyFans is excellent because hypothetically, let's say a young lady wanted to make a budding career as a model, but she's having a hard time, on Instagram. But she's an exhibitionist. She happens to be an exhibitionist. She happens to be beautiful. Well, she can get someone to invest in her career, get her augmentations, get her little work done, build up her following, and she can start making a legitimate living without putting her life on the line, without putting her safety on the line, all these things. OnlyFans is positive. The only reason why some of these people are threatened by it, I mean, I understand why the tricks are threatened by it. I just don't understand why these so-called players are but the only reason why they're really threatened by it is because they feel like it takes away from their ability to have any dealings with the young lady, so they can basically get a piece of that action. What you understand is this: we don't live in 1974. We live in 2024. Motherfucker, go get a camera and a computer and go study and go figure it out and become valuable. I'm gonna just say it just like that. Become valuable. And then come back and maybe the young lady may give you a chance. How do y'all invest in the right outfits, the right pieces, the right car, and all this other shit to go get a bitch that's gonna get $50, but you don't wanna go invest in a MacBook and a fucking camera to go figure out how to get the one that's gonna get $300,000 a month? That's some more game. Like, I don't understand how you got an issue with that. So that's the problem they got with OnlyFans. Sauce Walker is a rapper. You don't know anything about him, but he said some really, really one of the first, public figures I ever heard had common sense about OnlyFans. He said, if I gotta go take a chance and send a bitch on a track for $80, and if that's what it takes for me to win Pimp of the Year award, then you can keep that fucking award, because I'd much rather go on OnlyFans and make $80,000. Hey, y'all take it. I'm on fire this morning. I'm really, tired of what I see. I'm standing on the sidelines now, but I'm still tired of what I'm seeing. And what a lot of y'all need to do is really do some soul searching about, and this not even just going out to the hoe hustlers, this is going to the pussy peddlers. Listen, I know you think he cute. I know you watch the rappers and you want your man to be like the rappers. There was a time, believe it or not, that the rappers wanted to be like us. And now the rappers got a check and they making these songs, and now they think that they are either above or better than us. But when I hear these rap songs, a lot of them sound like trick music to be, they just sound talking about tricking. But to the pussy peddlers, I want you to think about your future. If you 19, you 20, you 21, you standing on the corner, you selling pussy, you doing your thing, you having fun, you got you a brand new wig, you got your hair braided, you went and got your nails done, you went and bought a brand new outfit, you did all of that shit. What's next? What's next? A real hoe is supposed to think about her future, man. Don't be a lame. You're supposed to think about your future. You running around doing donuts, you know what I mean, in the Hellcat with this dude playing Sexy Red, and you feeling yourself. But I promise you, you're gonna be just like them old hoes that's like in their 30s and shit and 40s. It's on the corner telling you stories with a gang of tissue in their fucking purse for some reason. You're gonna be just like them. You better get with somebody with a brain and a vision. You better find somebody real fast that got a vision and that's not with this whole hustling ass clone shit, or you're gonna be stuck in that rut for a long time. Man, never forget, a pimp's job is to make a hoe better. Period. If he ain't making you better, and I ain't talking about getting your nails done, your hair done, and paying your fucking hotel room. If he's not making you better, then what are you really doing? You might as well go pay a square or pay a trick and just call it a day.
Because the origins of all this, tell me about the origins. Because I'm not going to tell you how it is.
So the word pimp comes from the word pimple. Because the origins of this was, clubs like the Cotton Club, the players, the real gentlemen of leisure, they own these clubs and they entertained people. They ran numbers out the club. They did all the things we see in the movies, right? That really actually took place. But what happened is they were competition, and specifically to the Irish and to the Italians. More specifically to the Italians, who pretty much ran the underworld at that time, and they felt like, hey, all these people are going here, and they're making a bunch of money, we're not getting a piece of it. So they put the pressure on them through the Irish police. The Irishmen had the police jobs, they had the union jobs, so the Italians leveraged the Irish to start shutting down those clubs and shutting down those gentlemen of leisure that owned all those clubs. And eventually we got a small percentage of the game. They pushed us in the street and they called us pimples. That's where the word pimp came from. And they opened the brothels. I'm talking about the Italians. And they said, well, we'll give you guys a job because you guys are so good at finding the girls. We'll call you the Mac men and we'll let you work the door. That's where the Mac men, that's where the word Mac come from, because your job was to go out and find a girl and bring her to the brothel. So when you do the history of this shit, we were never meant to be in illegal activities on the street. We were meant to be legitimate services, safe, clean, hazardous, safe, sanitary, services. And if I go any deeper with it, I'll tell you, the original hoes didn't do no flat backing. We call them a trick because they would trick them out their money. We didn't do no flat backing. These girls was talking them out of their money. Some of them were thieves, con artists, just shit like that. And so that's why for you to say that this game belongs to you and not have no understanding of the history of it or understanding of what you're supposed to know and be equipped with to pour into this young lady, it just says a lot about why we are in the place we in right now, with the law enforcement and the rules and everything. Because they don't, let me tell you something, squares, real-ism squares respect real-ism. And I know, they respect real-ism. You'll be surprised. They respect real-ism because they know, hey, look, most of these guys always wanted to be a pimp. They looked up to the pimps. The guy that had the beautiful women, the nice clothes, the swag, the conversation. He knew how to say anything at the drop of a hat. He had the right words. They look up to it. What is going on now is not a rendition of that. Now you got guys beating girls up, giving them drugs. You got all this crazy shit going on. So pimping was supposed to take her off the drugs, clean her up and get her mind right, get her focused, get her together. When she finally graduated, and if she did leave him, she was gonna still come back and pay him because
which is exactly what you did for the young lady.
Exactly, that's how it was supposed to be.
That's what you did for Roy.
You know what I mean? It don't supposed to be it's supposed to be you build her up and you get her to a position. And if she leave you, you ain't chasing her like some mad Michael Myers. She paid you for that game so she could elevate and so she could eventually, get to a place where she could get her life together, because these hoes come to you broken. You're supposed to fix them. That's what you're supposed to do. And anybody who think you're not supposed to fix them, go talk to them old school players that had names like Captain. So y'all say Captain Save a Hoe, but don't know that the pimp was the original Captain Save a Hoe. Who else is gonna save her? So, I mean, it's frustrating because to know this much about the game and then to see it being played on the lowest level and then to not even be able to reach these dudes, because when you do try to talk some sense into them, they so full of nonsense, they so full of the bullshit listening to the rappers of all. Because you may not know this, Mark, but that's where, when you see all this bullshit going on, that's where it's coming from. It's coming from the rappers. They all want to be rappers now in one way or the other. So when you see the rappers dictating the way that the game should go, I mean, the rappers talking about who can sing, and some of these rappers, no pun intended, they got a wife and kids. What the fuck are you doing talking about pimping? You know, Iceberg Slim said the story of a pimp is that, you know, hoes come and go. If you a married man, the fuck? Hoes don't come and go out of your life. What the fuck are you doing making songs about the game? And you got a girlfriend and you got a fiance. You're not, you know, I might be able to make an exception for a polygamist. But you a monogamous married man and you making rap songs about, and they listening to this shit. And, you know, it's almost like Pimp and Ken once said that the ladies are going to always follow the music, whatever direction the music goes in, you know. Back in the day, you know, my dad, they used to listen to the Temptations and the Miracles, and they used to, you know, flip over the back of the record and read the lyrics, and it was smooth. They wore Letterman jackets, you know. And so the women were a little bit more, they were a lot more dainty, a lot more, you know, calmer. So now you listen to the music and you see a product of what's going on. It's become vulgar. And don't get me wrong, I like to see a beautiful bitch dressed up like anybody, but there's a place for that though. You know what I mean? And there's a reason why you're getting $40 for your pussy. It's because you look like $40, bitch. You know what I mean? So I don't get me started. Can we talk about my childhood or something? Because this is it gets emotional.
How'd you get into this game?
Okay, so I used to be heavy off into the street hustle, you know, and my first real street hustle acquaintance was actually a guy that I'm just gonna say he's very famous today. I'm not gonna put his name out there, but we did our little thing, you know, and I met a guy, he's dead now, his name was Slick. And Slick was down in his luck. Slick came to me, you know, I was young and I was renting out a room and I was hustling. And I used to hustle and I used to make my money with all the players. All the P's would come to me and shit, you know. And Slick was one of them. He came to me one day, he said, hey man, you know, he said, Holly, man, I need a place to stay. That's what they called me, Holly Prince. I said, yeah, okay, man, you know, I'll give you a place to stay. He said, you know, I'm trying to do this pimp thing. He said, I came here from New York, I'm trying to be a player, man, and I think I can do it if I keep hanging around, you know, all these players I'm meeting, man, I think I can do it. So maybe about 2 weeks later, he comes over. Now, he had been coming and going in my spot, and he comes over, and he says, I need your help. I need you to run interference. I said, what you mean? He said, man, I got a hoe in a hoe circle, man. I want to get over here, and I want to get on this bitch, and, you know, I want to pimp on this bitch. He said, I just need you to stand there. You ain't no pimp. I just want you to stand there and just pretend, you know, just see what it's about. And I went over there and looked at it, and that's when I first got introduced to the game, you know, and because I had been doing my business with these guys, but I never really got into their world. You know, I was still young and I never really got in their world. And lo and behold, I just, you know, gravitated towards it. But what was different about me was that I did my research because I'm a researcher. I didn't want to just be a part of something or in a lifestyle that I didn't research. So I researched it. I wanted to know, what is this game really about? What is it? What is all this really? I always look for a higher understanding, a higher truth about all of it. I wasn't like everybody else. They was. See, a lot of people would say, well, you know, this is what I do, right? But I realized early on, this can't be what you do. This got to be who you are. You can't prosper at this if it's not who you are. So that was pretty much my introduction, you know, through Slick. And unfortunately, he got killed like maybe 2 years later. He got his throat cut, throat slit, you know. But that's why I tell you, you know, this is not a game. This is real. You know, you can really lose your life. So I'll say like this, Mark, if your life, if this is not your life, if it's not in your heart, right, then you're going to be upset and feel cheated when you get the bad news, when the game spanks you for whatever you've done wrong. But when you really with this shit, even when you've made your mistakes, you're not gonna feel that way because you're gonna know I made a mistake. It's back to the drawing board. Because it's just like playing Any game. You play football, basketball, you get hurt, that doesn't mean you walk away from the game. You go back, you recuperate, you come back, you figure out what you did wrong, and you start all over again. And that's what this has been for me. Unfortunately, because of the way things is now, I had to step completely back because, it's been so crazy because of all the shit everybody is gleaned into this shit that it's no longer what you like I said, even if there was a self-respecting hoe, you couldn't send her on the blade anyway, because look at the current state of everything. So you couldn't do it anyway. So I'm limited now to I have to give these discussions. That's why I respect the old players. Rest in peace, Kenny Red. I respect that they sell game now. You know what I mean? They sell game. I think I seen something where Martini was doing something and selling a master class or something to the whole. Have to, because y'all fucked the game up. We can't play the game no more. We gotta do this because y'all fucked it up. So, my take on all of this is if you look at where we're gonna be in about, I say give or take 5 more years, 5 or 10 more years, I say 5 years. I think pretty soon in 5 years, it's gonna look like a circus. It looked like a circus already, but it's gonna really look like a circus. Like it looks like a circus to cats like me, but it's gonna look like a real circus to everybody in about the next 5 or 10 years. Because everybody thinks they're a pimp and everybody wants to be a hoe. And once it gets like that, if you go on social media and go on some of this stuff and you look at, you can't even tell who is who no more. You can't see, I see girls doing their little twerk videos and all this, and I'm like, is this a 304 or what is this? And I see, the jewels on talking about using the same terminology, and it's gonna be a circus. Because when you let too many people come into a sport without being quickened, without balances and checks, you get what we get today. You yourself, Mark, you grew up, you saw pimps, you had a relationship with Don Juan. You know what it looked like. Even you look at this shit now. I remember you told me one time, you was like, I'm not going back to the players' ball again. It's not what it used to be. Because too many people, it's oversaturated like Starbucks everywhere. It's everywhere. Everybody is. All of y'all can't be somebody lying. All of y'all can't be pimps and hoes. Somebody is lying and full of shit. But they gonna say, fuck him, we making money. Cool. That's cool. You making money? I mean, it's sad because, it's sad. I'll just leave it at that. I won't say much more about that.
I think the game's over.
Game is over. It's over. The game has been over it's over. It's pretty much over. No, let me take that back. It's not over. The streets is over. And honestly, I shouldn't be mourning the streets. I don't mourn the streets. I'm actually glad that the game is over on the streets. What pisses me off is that the lifestyle is being hijacked. It's being hijacked. It's even, I'm gonna say this because I just thought about this. It's even hijacked to where I seen somebody that was disparaging a player because he married his bottom that he had for so many years. Hey, listen, man. It'll take me forever to sit here and explain to you why it's completely okay for this man to marry his bottom. But listen, I said this before. A pimp ain't nothing but a hoe's man. That's it. So if he marries her, what right do you have to disparage him for marrying her? Or so you say he married a hoe, when that man has probably accomplished things with this young lady where you haven't accomplished nothing. You've had this pussy peddling ass hoe for I don't know how long and ain't accomplished nothing. And because you can't understand that a man on a mission with a young lady that got his back and she doing what she's supposed to do and handled his business, that she not worthy of marrying her, who else he's supposed to marry? You got some of these hoes that's willing to stand outside in the cold while you sitting in the car drinking a cup of coffee and she freezing with an umbrella, and you telling me that when you got a square that won't even make you a sandwich, that the hoe is not worthy of being married. So she's standing out here freezing for some money, and this bitch This square bitch won't even make you a sandwich, only suck your dick on holidays, but they're good enough to marry? You don't want to hear from me because I got a million analogies. Don't ever disparage no player for doing the right thing. He's a gentleman and he's a part of a lifestyle, and it's okay for him to do that. That's his cup of tea. This game is great. When you really in the lifestyle and you really know what this shit is, it's great. I'm so glad, this is gonna sound crazy, I'm so glad the streets is closing down on you motherfuckers. I am so glad, because now y'all can get out the fucking way. Y'all can go get your little twos and fews, your little $40 and take your little pictures with your scam money and your dope money and all that shit and pretend like you're really doing some real shit. And eventually, in about 5 years, as it looks more and more like a circus, all the real players are gonna elevate and we're gonna see everybody that's doing their thing for real. And I'm so happy for that, because the lifestyle needs to be respected and cherished. You know, being in this lifestyle ain't no different than any other preference in this country. And it should really be respected that way. It should be respected like a husband and a wife. Because let's just be honest, you got some motherfuckers that sleep on the couch and play video games all day while their wife go to work. What are they doing? What makes a gentleman that much more different? So I can't wait till this shit fall apart on y'all, and I'm not gonna say all that, but I'm gonna just say, I can't wait till it falls apart completely, and then we can see who the real players are. Because all of you slick talking, nickel slick, pussy peddling asshole hustlers that talk all this shit about how much, you know, you changing the game and fuck the old heads and this, that, and the third. We know what you don't know. You didn't come to us to get polished and to get no game. So when the walls close in on you, how you gonna get out of it? Because the walls are closing in. Because if you willing to go out there and take a chance on your life for $40, then you really crazy as fuck and you don't realize the walls are closing in. You should not be taking those chances for that. You might as well go get a job.
All right, Supreme. Thank you for enlightening everybody.
It was a pleasure.
We'll see where it goes from here.
Hey.
The future's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it is. We're gonna see. It is.
All right, man. Thank you.